We're seeing the face of the teen who stands accused of killing his parents. 14-year-old Trevor Lee facing 2 counts of second-degree murder. And for the first time tonight, we're hearing his voice in the newly released 911 dispatch recording. I want to warn you, hearing the call may be disturbing.
You first?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, I'll listen to you. Well, I was going to ask if you could pray for me, ma'am. Right now? I'll definitely be praying for you, son.
Investigators say Lee was outside a church when he dialed 911 and reported himself. He stayed on the phone until deputies got to his location and took him into custody.
News4JAX reporter Eric Avenez here in studio with us with more on this new information he obtained in this case. Eric?
Yeah, we were able to acquire a lot more information than what we had yesterday when we first reported this story. Now, we now know where in the house the parents were killed and the extent of their fatal injuries. We also found out that the 14-year-old called his aunt in California before he called 911 to turn himself in. Just one day after 44-year-old David Lee and 45-year-old Brandy Smith were found shot to death inside their Silver Oak subdivision home in Middleburg, News4JAX has learned the couple was in their bed when they were shot multiple times. Both were pronounced deceased when paramedics arrived. Investigators identified the killer as the couple's son, 14-year-old Trevor Lee. After the parents were murdered, Lee called his aunt in California. She then called Clay County 911 dispatch. What her nephew told her was redacted from the 911 recording.
They're in your house. Please, 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 please. Send help immediately. Ambulance, whatever, immediately.
The teen traveled to a nearby church parking lot and called 911. He stayed on the line until deputies arrived to take him into custody.
I'm by the road. I threw my backpack away from me. I'm stripped. I'm waiting for the police.
What do you mean you're
I have
stripped?
nothing in my pocket. I emptied my pockets and everything. There's nothing in my pockets.
While most of his conversation with the dispatcher was redacted, we hear him ask the dispatcher to pray for him.
You first?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, I'll listen to you.
Well, I was going to ask if you could pray for me, ma'am. Right now?
I'll definitely be praying for you, son.
These parents are dead in their bed. And
Retired JSO Director of Investigations turned News4JAX crime and safety analyst Tom Hackney says this was no doubt a heinous crime carried out by a kid, but he also says the fact that the teen called 911 to surrender himself says something.
instant remorse. When you hear the sound of his voice and you hear kind of what he's going through, aside from the redacted part, you hear some instant remorse. And I think that's kind of bolstered by the fact that he left the scene and goes immediately to call 911 and turn himself in.
Now, the 14-year-old remains in custody at the Regional Juvenile Detention Center in Jacksonville. So far, he has not been charged as an adult.
You guys know how I like to find their social media pages to get additional information. Well, I couldn't find the father and husband's page, but I did find the mother's page. On March 18, 2019, now this was about, 5 years ago, she posted, quote, "This little boy gives me pure hell. Everything I did to my parents, I'm getting back times 10. Y'all keep us lifted up in prayer," end quote. Now, that was probably a light-headed post. I think it was probably meant for a little bit of fun, humorous, but probably something was going on in the home. He probably was a little out of control, throwing temper tantrums, being part of this generation. I definitely believe that is what was going on. And I don't think that they seen it coming. I don't know if it was that bad, because of course I don't know this family, but it was so bad that he had to go and get the handgun and kill his mother and father right there. I looked in the comments and people were saying that there was something going on in that house. People that don't even know this family. You know, the armchair psychologists, the ones that just sit there, or should I say the keyboard psychologists, the ones that just sit there and act like they know everything that's going on in this house when you don't even know this family at all. So they think something was going on in this house to where this child had to pick this gun up and defend himself. Then we have people saying no. You know, he was the devil. All these kids is like that. This generation is like that. They don't have no consequences to their actions. They don't have no control over themselves. And honestly, I'm more into believing that. Not everybody, because not everybody in this generation, is going to be incarcerated. So no, I don't think it's like that. But sometimes from the stories that I see, a lot of these children feel entitled in a way. Somebody even said if you tell them to put their phones down and do their homework or take out the trash, they'd rather pick up a gun and shoot you. And that's sad because that is how things are. Now, why they are like that, I don't know. If my mom told me to do something and I didn't feel like it, I might suck my teeth and mumble something, and she'd be like, "What did you say?" And I'm like, nothing, while grabbing the trash or grabbing my book bag to do my homework. But never would I think about, murdering her. And there was no handguns in my house. My mom didn't like handguns, and this is back, in the 90s, but my mom did not like handguns. Guns are more or less not used for protection anymore. And I always say that. They're used to settle scores. They're used because a love interest doesn't want you anymore. They're used because you have something that they want. They're never used for protection anymore. And he was 14, so if they did have a gun in the closet or in a drawer, he knew where the gun was. And he was able to get it. Now that's in fact if this couple, the Smiths, if they owned a gun. The Smith Lees. That's if they even owned a gun. I'm not even saying that they owned a gun. I mean, these children could go out there and they can get a gun from a so-called friend or acquaintance quicker than they could get, a hamburger and some French fries from them. It's sad but true. It's sad but true. And I don't know. These children these days, and I don't want to throw the whole generation, under the bus, but you have to deal with them individually. And these children, I don't know what's going on to where they feel like they have no consequences. And this is out of Florida. It's a lot going on. I don't know if you guys looked at the Armstrong, A.J. Armstrong Jr. He was young when he took out his parents. His parents, they gave him the world. He was the son of A.J. Armstrong Sr. He was known for baseball, I believe. I believe he was known for baseball. And I did that story. And he's now incarcerated. Pretty much he won't get out until he's like damn near 60. And he was a juvenile when he shot his parents, and trying to say he's innocent, that's a whole nother story. But what I'm trying to say is these children, they have access to social media, so they see that this has happened to other places. They hear about it, and the only person right now that we have that can tell the story of why this even occurred is Trevor. And do we believe him? I mean, after all, you killed your parents.